Bring your cup and take a seat. Fill it up, coffee, wine, or tea. Come find what you're looking for. A good pour.
Welcome back to A Good Pour. I'm Kathryn Good, your host. This is Conversations About Good Work. Today we have Mandy Christenson. Did I do it right?
You did.
Mandy Christenson. I'm going to do it again. Today we have Mandy Christenson with the White House area.
Mm-hmm.
White House area Chamber of Commerce. We just also talked to this morning. We talked to Goodlettsville area, and we talked about it areas because you're in multiple counties.
Correct.
Right.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Well, thank you, Mandy, for joining us.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
This fall, we are having all of the chamber CEO and executive director. No, you're not. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
CEO and presidents on. It was just kind of coincidence. Once I had several booked, I was like, we're going to get them all and talk about.
Let's just bring
Sumner
everybody.
County, and in our awesome Chamber of Commerces. We have awesome cities in this county, and they're all represented really well. And I just love how you all work together, too.
Oh, it's amazing. It really is, because it's such a sense of collaboration. We'll call it co-opetition sometimes, because we have a lot of the same members, but, you know, each chamber is different. I listened to Kristen's podcast.
Yes.
You see one chamber, you've seen one chamber. And that's absolutely true, because each chamber kind of molds to what their community needs and works to serve them. And so we all have different features that maybe one is a little bit better at this, but maybe I'm better at that. And so we can lean on each other a lot.
Well, and there's also established traditions, right?
Oh, absolutely.
In different cities.
Yes.
And then you have to lead these or at least represent them well. Right. And so, but then you can all learn from each other.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And maybe you start an event that's been going on here forever.
Yes.
And you can say, hey, Kim, tell me about it.
Oh,
right.
Yeah. We're always, borrowing each other's ideas. And there are a lot of group chats with, how did you handle this? Or what should we do here? And it's really good to have that, not mentors necessarily, but colleagues that you can trust and also that you can share and vent with and express frustrations and how can we handle this or do this better or what should we have done differently? And because they have a good viewpoint that not everybody does, because it's a different world running a chamber.
Well, tell me about White House.
Okay. Well, so you mentioned we're in two counties. So Highway 31W, the double yellow line, divides our city into Robertson and Sumner County. Predominantly, most of our businesses are in Robertson County, and it used to be that most of our rooftops were in Sumner County, but that's equalized over the last few years because White House is really growing. We're the fastest growing city in Robertson County, so we're on track to hit 20,000 in the next year or so.
And it's had some pretty fast growth, right?
Some pretty rapid growth, yeah.
Yeah.
The 2020 census had us at about 13,000. We know that number is not right because they omitted one of our brand new neighborhoods that had about 800 homes. So we're in the process of doing a special census, which Gallatin also has done, because that's a lot of revenue dollars that we're losing. And then also from an economic development standpoint, we need to have correct numbers so that the businesses that are coming can look at us and make better choices.
What are the types of businesses you're seeing come in?
So we've got a variety of businesses. Of course, a lot of small businesses still. We have a lack of commercial space right now, so it's a little bit difficult. I actually met with someone who's interested in opening a restaurant yesterday, but there are very few choices for him because he needs a small footprint. But we just had Publix open last year, and when they opened, they had a shopping center development as part of their grocery store, and so that allowed for some new businesses to come in. So we've seen Teriyaki Madness, a new dental office, a UPS store, which was exciting for everybody because people were having to drive out of White House to do their returns. And so that was a nice feature.
Amazon returns specifically, right?
Yeah.
I'm guilty. I'm guilty.
Right.
Well, how long have you been there?
I have in White House or at the chamber?
Well, both.
Well, so I was born and raised in White House.
Okay.
So I'm a Wahisian.
Okay.
But
I have not heard that
Yeah.
term.
and then I've been at the chamber a little over 11 years.
Okay. What brought you into chamber work?
So I actually was in the newspaper business before the chamber, and I had served on the board of directors as the chairman of the board. And the paper that I worked for was sold to Main Street Media, and I worked there for a little while. And then the chamber role opened up, and I said, I'm going to give it a shot. And here
Here you are. What kind of journalism did you do? Was
So
writer or?
I did it all. So I was the general manager, but I did graphic design. That's my primary I guess my skill set. But you had, in small businesses, you get to do it all.
Yeah.
And so I was on the sidelines taking pictures at football games, or I was writing stories, designing ads, and I did a lot of ad sales as well.
Okay. I majored in journalism. So I was on the staff at the Daily Beacon and in Knoxville. So it's a world, like if there's a show or a book about a newsroom, that sort of thing, I just love it. So
For sure. Yeah.
I just love it.
my degree is journalism with a specialty in graphic design.
Okay. Do you still like graphic design a lot?
Oh, I do. Well, and I utilize it a lot at the
Do you use Canva or Adobe?
So I was Adobe, and when Canva first came out, I was like, oh, I'll never use Canva
yes.
because Adobe, I can do it in Illustrator and InDesign. And then I started using Canva a little bit, and I was like, oh, this is great. But there are still some things that like I know I can do, and I have to take it into Illustrator, and then I'll upload it into Canva.
The graphic designers we work with are very similar. We like it in Canva because it's easy to change.
Collaborate, yes.
And it's easy to collaborate, and it's easy to just go in and, like, there's a template and you just make one change. But then if you want a true initial design, sometimes our designers will be like, I'm going to do this in Adobe, and then I'll
There's a little bit of snobbery in the graphic design world.
Well, as there should be, right?
Yes,
I mean, I often say Canva makes us all feel like graphic designers.
Yes.
I mean, what I say in my workshops is if you spent more than 15 minutes on one design, you were out of your lane and you need to call a real graphic designer. Like Canva makes us feel like we can do it all.
It does.
And then it just doesn't look good. And it doesn't look good, but you're like, I've done this for 15 minutes.
Right?
I'm going to make it work.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Well, we started when you came in, we were talking about how chambers, I was commenting on all of your titles are CEO and president.
Right.
And so you were telling me that this has changed, that what used to be executive directors. And so why was the change?
So it used to be all chamber directors would be called executive directors. And I guess right as I was coming into the industry was when the change was happening. And the premise behind it is, as a chamber director, you're dealing with CEOs and business leaders, and the majority of your for-profit businesses don't understand that an executive director is the top level. And so because we are a business organization, it made sense for our titles to match that.
Okay, that makes sense to me. So what's been some struggles with the growth? Or what have you learned?
Well, I've learned a lot. The biggest struggle probably is the people that have moved to the community in the last 5 or 10 years seem to be the most frustrated by the growth, which is ironic because you moved here because of what the community has to offer. And it's a great place to live. And we've kept that small town feel and that close-knit community vibe. And so I understand people don't want to share it, but then also there are a lot of benefits to the growth and job creation and tax dollars to stay in the community so that then the community and the city can do things that are better. And so, it's just the ebb and flow. And being as close to Nashville as we are, it's one of those things we kind of have to embrace it because there's not a whole lot we can do to stop it.
Mm-hmm. How close are you to Nashville? I mean,
so technically we're about 22 or 23 miles from Nashville, but used to you could say we're 30 minutes away, but you can't really say that anymore.
No, I mean, I feel like when I drive down there, I'm trying to time it. And even if I try to time it, it's still.
Because you never know what you're going to run into, what kind of hiccups you're going to run into. So,
So 12 years, it's much different than it was 12 years ago.
Absolutely.
Anything just has stood out as a surprise, or what have you learned about the White House kind of character, or anything just stood out as something that I mean, you've just been through a lot.
We have, and I guess nothing is a surprise, but because you're in it, you're in it day to day, and so it's not like you left and you came back a few
Right.
years later, and it's like, oh, what's happened? Now, what is really interesting to me is people will post a video of someone driving through White House in 2000 or 1995, and look back, and it's like, oh my gosh, it is so different. And I did a video not long after I started, maybe a year or so after I started. We were getting a Dairy Queen, which was exciting news for us at the time. And for some reason, it popped up in my Facebook feed, I think. And I went back and I was looking. I was like, oh my gosh, there was open fields, and the house was coming down where the Dairy Queen was going. And so, really, a big change in a pretty short amount of time. And you just, because you're living it, you're not really absorbing it.
But y'all have been intentional about this growth.
We've tried, yes,
as much as you can.
yes,
Right.
yeah, we've tried. And right now, we've got still about 1,200 approved developments, homes on the books. The board that we have right now has kind of slowed down approving large developments and is sticking with smaller developments or single family homes until we kind of get a handle on things, because we did have some infrastructure issues with traffic and signalization, and
Yes.
and that's common across the board, because it's hard to lay that infrastructure before you have the funds for it, and so that's a delicate balance.
Yeah. So when a business comes to you, how are you, I guess, describe the process for, and this is, I haven't talked to any of the chamber representatives
Oh,
yet about
okay.
this, but so are you involved in getting businesses there, or do they like start talking to you once they know they're coming, or is it a little bit of
It's
both?
a little bit of
Okay.
both. It's you never know what it's going to be. So I work with the city's team on economic development. The city of White House does not have one specific person that's
Okay.
over economic development. Other communities do. But so we work with the city administrator, the city planner, our public services department, and the chamber. And so I do a lot of the marketing and that, and they're doing a lot of the technical stuff, because I don't know, how much water pressure they need for this. And so we work together on that. And so we are very specific about recruiting certain businesses, but then of course we have businesses all the time that are coming
Right.
that we don't even know are coming. So and that's people don't understand that all the time, because if they're coming into a commercial space, we don't know sometimes until they hang their sign what's going on, because they don't necessarily have to go through an approval process.
Is there anything you just wish people knew about White House?
I love it, obviously, because I chose to stay there, and I think it is the community. And I had a gentleman come in yesterday that had moved in from Kansas, and he had a business that he was talking about joining the chamber, and he said, I just can't believe how small it feels, but it's not small.
Mhm.
And so I think that's one of the things that has really made us unique in the way that we support one another. And when I was in high school, you went out to the grocery store and you literally knew everyone you saw. Now that's not the case, but it's still that
It
familiar
feels
feeling.
that way. I mean, and at least even in Gallatin, we were at Double Dogs last night, and I looked around and I was like, every time I come in here, I see at least two people I know, right? Which is still just this good feeling.
Yes.
And I looked around, and sure enough, there was a couple of people I knew, and I was like, I'm not going to interrupt their dinner, but I like going in, and you still see people. I mean, you
There's
still
something
see people
special about
You
that.
have this feeling of community. It's my husband and I actually were, my dad would be like, we all will probably move. And I'm like, I've intentionally built this community. I love walking in
Yes.
and feeling this way. Like, why would we move?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
if we can help it, why would we, go somewhere
Yeah,
else?
because it is. I mean, it's, of course, I'll tell my husband the day I don't put on makeup is when I see 25 people at the grocery store. And if I go in after work and I look fine and never see anybody, but, it's just really special to have that, walk in and the cashier knows you, or they're in school with your daughter, or there's something
but
special
that can
about it.
stay. Like, that's a character of a town, no matter
It's
how
absolutely. That's
big.
the people of the town.
That's the people.
And I think that the people that are coming to White House are coming because of that. They feel it immediately. The gentleman I mentioned that was in yesterday, he said, we went to Smyrna and Lebanon and some different places. He said, but every time we came here, it felt different. And so that made me happy.
Yeah. They were being called to White House.
Yes, they were.
Well,
And
thank
he said he loves
you.
to volunteer too. So that was
Oh, well, and you need your
know,
volunteers.
exactly. You
need
know,
your-
being a chamber member, how
Yes.
volunteers are. So he was speaking my language.
Yes, and that's a really good point. I mean, you have how big's your team?
We have a team of 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah.
And then how big's your volunteer team?
We have a core team of about 12 to 15. We have about 40 or so that are in our volunteer email list. But
I mean, that's to do your work.
You
It
have
takes
to-
a lot of volunteers.
yes, because we do a lot of events like a lot of our chamber neighbors do. And so those events take a lot of boots on the ground to pull off.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything coming up you'd like people to know about?
November, we have what we call the kickoff to the holiday shopping season, and it is Jingle and Mingle around town. And it is an event for our brick and mortar businesses, but also we have pop-up locations where we will put businesses that are like crafters or artisans that may not have a brick and mortar location to showcase their items. And we do passports. You go get your passport stamped, and we give away $500 in gift certificates. And then we have about 100 to 150 door prizes that we give away too. So every stamp is an extra entry. So the more places you visit, the more chances you have to win. And of course, we're really trying to stimulate our local economy. Usually in that day, we'll see $50,000 to $60,000 of income for our small businesses. And
So this is a one day?
it is a one-day event. Yeah.
And what day is it?
It's Saturday, November 8th from
Okay.
10 to 4.
Okay. I have to ask, did you design the passport?
Yeah, I did.
Good. I like to see
Yes.
you keep using those skills.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mandy, for all the good work happening in the White House.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on A Good Board.
Yes, thank you.